welcome to a brand new disc golf video. Today I've got some forehand tips for you guys. I see a lot of people making some common mistakes. In this video I'm going to hopefully try to help some of you guys with your forehand. Hopefully these tips will help you have a better forehand, so let's go ahead and get into it. So the first biggest forehand mistake I see is when people are about to throw their forehand. What will happen will be whenever, especially when they're trying to throw a hyzer, what will happen will be when they're about to throw the disc, they'll dip this shoulder right here down, and when they dip that shoulder down, the angle of the disc will go up as well, and then that'll cause a nose up release, which will basically just get you some distance, but it'll eventually just stall and crash right back down, which will get you no real distance. And so one thing that I like to tell people who are trying to learn a forehand or are just newer to the game, this goes for backhand and forehand, is just whenever you're throwing, picture there's a water bottle on top of your disc, and if you tilt it this way or this way, it's gonna fall off. So if you're a beginner, most of the time if you throw a forehand or a backhand flat, it's gonna end up going straight and hyzering out. So a good thing to do is just practice throwing it flat. And because if you throw it flat, it'll naturally, if you have an overstable disc, it'll naturally hyzer out, which is what you want if you're trying to throw a hyzer. But the majority of people learning a forehand normally do the mistake of rolling their wrist over and throwing an hyzer forehand. And when that happens, either they have an understable disc or a lightweight disc, and it'll just turn over and burn into a roller, or they have a disc that's too overstable, and it'll just immediately start flexing out and hyzering. And so one of the things that you want to start doing is you don't want to start having to rely on a flex for all your distance. You want to be able to throw it flat, maybe get some natural turn to the right and a fade. So basically what you kind of want to do is have that disc here, keep the elbow tucked in, keep it flat, and follow through. And then that's going to hopefully help you get a little bit more distance and not just having it stall out the entire time. Okay guys, I'm going to try to show you what I mean by having it nose up and stalling out, and then fixing that to a nose down angle and more of a piercing through the air flight. So first thing I'm going to do is throw a nose up kind of stall shot, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about with the nose angle, and then I'll try to correct it on the next one. So we'll go for a nose up stall shot here. So obviously that disc is really overstable for one, so that's why it hyzered the whole way, but you saw, if you can notice, you could see the entire stamp of the disc, its whole flight. And so you know it's nose up. Now I'm going to correct it. Now this is the same disc right here. So it's very overstable, but I'm going to release it flat and you'll see a straighter flight and then a hyzer. You can see how that one had so much more spin on the disc, it had so much more snap on the disc, and overall that's the same exact disc, and I hit that tree in the air and the other one didn't even make it to that tree. So it's a big difference. You're gonna get a lot more distance, a lot more spin on the disc, and if you have a less overstable disc, you get more turn. Alright guys, if you can master that with your forehand, you'll see huge improvements. I used to throw nose up forehands every single time, and I'd be like, yeah, it gets what I want to happen, I'll get a hyzer, but I'm not getting distance. So that's something that's really takes time to do. Even Brody Smith, I mean, his forehand's nose up, and you'll see he gets good distance, but it's not the flight you want. So here, what I'm going to do is kind of show you a few more flights of beginners. What will happen is when they throw a forehand, it'll start flexing on them because they roll their wrist. And so a big thing to help not roll your wrist is you don't want your throw to be all out here with your forehand. You don't want your arm to be all loose and throwing it, because that will have you roll your wrist. So you want the elbow tucked in, follow through just flat. and a flat release will help with that. So flat release, follow through, then you won't roll your wrist and you'll have it turn into an anhyzer. So I'm going to show you a rolled wrist on the first one, and then I'm going to show you a flat wrist on the second one to get a better flight out of it. So we're going to roll the wrist here, and this is what happens with a lot of beginners. I know it happened to me. So this is just me rolling my wrist over. Okay, with this throw, I'm going to keep my wrist flat and have a good follow through. But I'm going to put anhyzer on it, so you guys can still throw flex shots, but you're not rolling your wrist over every time, and all you can throw is flexes. So I put a little baby anhyzer on it, have a steady wrist, and you'll see the flight. Alright guys, my final tip of the video here is just going to be your hips, getting your hips into it. This is something I've personally been working on for a while now, and I've been getting a whole lot more distance now, which has really been improving my forehand, especially on distance shots. So one thing I'm going to show you guys in this video is the difference between not getting your hips involved and getting your hips involved. So I have a little side angle here, and you're going to see me throwing not my hips involved, and then me throwing with my hips involved. I apologize for the construction noise, but the house literally right next to me is getting a ton of work done, installing a pool in the backyard, so I have to still get out and record videos. So if you guys hear that in the background, that's why. But this first throw here, what I'm going to do is I'm not really going to use my hips very much. It's going to be a lot of arm, which is not bad. I'm going to have my elbow tucked in, I'm going to have a steady follow through, but it's not distance, and we want distance. So first throw here, you're just going to see me throw, not getting the hips involved very much, just to throw to get the flight I want. That was a good forehand, guys. It was just straight to overstable finish, but now we're going to get the hips involved, get a good follow through, because a lot of people with their forehand, they'll throw it and just watch where it goes and not follow through. A follow through is really, really important. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this shot now. Now that shot right there clipped a branch and still went probably 65, 70 feet farther than the other one, probably even more. And if it didn't clip that branch, we're talking 100 feet farther. So that's a great example right there of why footwork is so important. Getting those hips involved, following through, getting that other foot around, you're gonna get a ton more distance on your forehand. It's really gonna improve, and that is my final tip of the video for improving your forehand. Alright guys, that is it for this video of forehand tips to help you guys improve your forehand, get more distance, get more accuracy on your forehand. If you guys enjoyed this video and these tips were helpful for you, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I upload every Wednesday and Saturday. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.